I'm sure you were not expecting this today, right? So, hello, welcome to today's live session. My name is Esther. If you're new here, I talk about faith, love, purpose, and everyday life. This channel is an awesome channel that I created to share my thoughts on faith, love, and everyday life, like I said earlier. And today I will be doing something I have not done before on my channel. I'll be reviewing a movie. And this is something I usually do on my Instagram channel, right? I usually review movies on my Instagram channel, especially faith-based movie. And I saw one movie today at the beginning of the day. And I said I have to show you guys. You guys have to like watch this movie with me, or at least have an understanding of this movie. If you have already seen it before, we can share our thoughts together. So guess what the movie is? I guess you can guess from the title. But if you can't, the movie is Love in the Guest Room. I know you were thinking that I was going to be talking about love. I'm like, of course, I am a preacher of love because I believe in godly relationship, godly marriage. I believe that you can find true love and enjoy love, right? So I saw the movie Love in the Guest Room by the Winlos. Actually, I wanted to show a scene in the movie that I love the most, but it seems I won't be able to get that. So maybe I'll do another shot where I show you the scene in that movie. Well, recently I also reviewed Last to Marry on my Instagram page. If you want to watch it, I'm going to put a link to my Instagram profile on this video description so you can join me on Instagram. But today I'm reviewing the movie Love in the Guest Room. And one thing I love about the movie by the Winlos was the plot twist, the suspense, and the lessons to be learned. So every single out there should watch this video, and every married person, because this applies to both singles and married. There are lessons to learn from it. So if you have not seen the movie Love in the Guest Room, please head to the Winlows page now and watch that movie. No, don't head now, please watch my live. Oh, maybe you should head to the Winlows page, watch the movie, and then you can come back to my live too, or maybe come back to watch my video, because I don't want to like give you guys spoilers. We don't want any spoilers. But if you can hear me, please let me know that you can hear me, and so that I can continue. And if you want to drop any charts, let me just have a look. No chat yet. So if you have any chats, please drop that. If you've seen the movie, please let me know that you've seen the movie. Oh, thank you, I can hear you. I best man that you can hear me. If you've seen the movie, put in the comment section that you've seen the movie. If you've not seen it, just let me know that you've not seen it. But I think it's a must watch for everyone. So I'm going to start with the first shocker alert for me was the fact that Stephanie. So maybe I should just explain the movie. The movie is about two families, two couples, right? Um, they so the husband of one couple was wanted to cheat on her. Let me try to rephrase myself. So it was about two couples who had issues in their marriages that needed to be sorted out, and the lady found herself with another man in another man's house, while the man also found himself in another woman's house. Now, the shocker alert for me was when the lady, who was obviously married, Stephanie, the main character, was in the other man's house, and the wife of the man came in, and she was like, and the man was like, wanted to like take her to the guest room or take her somewhere to hide. And she was like, no, we're not doing anything bad. And it was a naivety for me. Why would you say that it is okay to go to a married man's house and expect the wife to come in and not feel anything? Like she felt like, oh, she wasn't even that she came with the purest of intentions. So that's why you need to test all spirit. You cannot be naive. You cannot pretend like nothing is going on. A man cannot say, take me to your house, or a man cannot say, follow me to your house, and you pretend like everything is okay. There's nothing is gonna happen. I used to think like that, right? During my teenage years. I used to think that it's okay to visit a boy, visit a guy, and nothing is gonna happen. By the way, I just remembered something. Happy International Women's Day to all my women out there. You are the real G. I celebrate you, I respect you, I love you. Kisses to you. We would continue to speak up, we would continue to amplify our voices, we'll continue to stand up for the truth of what is right. So back to my story. I said I was naive when I was much younger. I used to think it's okay to visit a guy, nothing's gonna happen. But I had to learn the hard way, right? And so you don't have to learn the hard way. This lady was obviously pretending like, no, I just came to visit a married man and nothing's gonna happen. We just want to discuss. And I'm like, that is the first, the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You cannot claim to be naive. You cannot just follow a man anywhere. So you have to be careful of the places you want to go with somebody that is not your husband, especially when you're married. And if you're dating, you need to question every decision, question every movement, question everything that somebody is telling you. You cannot, just follow people blindly without asking questions. So cannot say, oh, he's my boyfriend or he's my girlfriend, and you just go to places that you never plan. That's why things that you not expect will also happen. So you have to be very careful of what you do. So the first one is naivety, which means that we have to be knowledgeable, ask the right questions, be curious, so that you will not be found wanting, so that will not be at the wrong place at the wrong time and experience the wrong things, right? So the other thing about the movie that I learned, there are several lessons which I'm just going to kind of summarize. I wrote them down in the book. So in case you see me going down, it's because I'm checking them. I don't want to miss out on any points for you guys. So stay with me till the end. If you stop by the way, you won't get the full gist, okay? And I'm not going to say everything that happened in the movie, but I feel like singles have a lot to learn from this. So first of all, one thing I saw that the couple had, and the major theme that they had issues with, was with communication. And if you've watched my live before, you've watched my videos, most of the things I talk about for married women, for married men, for singles looking to get married, is the fact that communication is essential. It's essential. It is the lifeblood of every relationship. You cannot afford not to know how to communicate, when to communicate, and the place to communicate. Sometimes you are saying the right things, but it's not the right time. Sometimes it's your tone. How do you raise your voice? Like my husband used to say, calm down, calm down. It's only the two of us that are here. And I'm like, this is how I talk. And he's like, no, you're shouting. So I had to consciously learn how to bring down the tone of my voice, try to explain politely without being too loud, or what's the word now, without being courteous. Yeah, I would say that. So communication was lacking in the life of the couple. So we had this couple, Stephanie and Shay. Now Stephanie was the one that went to visit the man in his own house, and also Shay went to visit the woman and the woman's husband in her own house. Now, the woman's husband, Mrs. Gideon, that's her name, was able to convince Shay, that's the husband of Stephanie, that there was a party going on and that he needed to come, and he blindly followed her. So luckily, she now heard the voice of her husband and tried to hide him. So both of them ended up being in the guest room. So that is how love in the guest room, started. So these people were having serious issues in their marriages, and it was when they put them together in the guest room that they were able to speak about their issues, because they had a lot of issues that would have led to the end of that marriage, because the man was already thinking about divorce. He was already thinking about how to earn it. But it was in that moment during communication. So one thing that stood out for me was the fact that mobile phones, technologies these days are affecting how our relationship, you know, how our relationship thrive. These two couples were very much busy with their phones. They barely had time to speak to each other. And one of the issues that they had with respect to communication was that they were speaking, but they were not listening. So the woman was talking to the man, but the man was obviously not listening. He was listening to respond, not listening to acknowledge that she was talking. Oh, thank you, thank you. I can see it's interesting. So she was just listening. He was listening to respond. He wasn't listening to attend to her feelings and emotions. So communication was a big issue. And so for every relationship, you should be open and make sure that you are listening to your partner and you are, receiving feedback and acting on it. So number two thing that happened in that movie is um extended family issues. So if you've watched my previous video on how we move from friends to best friend, the one I did with my husband, I'll put the 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 video on my description later. We talked about the fact that some of the issues that some of the factors that affect marriages is are sex. We talk about sex. We talk about finance, and then we talk about extended family. So extended family was a big issue. Like, so what happened in this marriage was the fact that this newly wedded people, this newly wedded couple, when they got married on their wedding night, the husband's brother was in the house, so the guy had refused to go. Like, seriously. And the lady was shocked. Like, is Shagun not going to go? She was like, is Shagun not going to go? Why is he still here? And this is where the problem started. When they were dating, they never had firm boundaries. They never discussed about extended family. Now, the man was like, he's my benefactor. He has to leave me. He can't go. And these were conversations that they should have had before they got married. So she was like acting so shocked and, you know, unexpected that the husband's brother, who is the elder brother, a 39-year-old man for that matter, was living with them. And so if you're dating, you're not yet married, I think it's important that you discuss this with your partner. Are you going to, do you have any siblings that you're catering for? Are they going to live with us? What is your take on this? Make sure you talk about it. And I remember when I was getting married, I had something similar that happened to me. Maybe I should just bring that perspective into this. So when I was getting married, I knew that my husband and his sister were living together. She was 7 at the time. So these were some conversations that we had. So I said, what are we going to do about this person? Are we going to be able to, is she going to move in with us and all of that? Because I knew we were going to get a separate, apartment. So we talked about it extensively. And we talked about the fact that okay, we'd rent, she would continue the rent, and then we'll get our own place and all of that, because it is important that newlyweds have time to understand themselves. So bringing third parties into that relationship will not help the relationship. So we talked about this, and unfortunately, our finances did not go as we expected, and she had just finished serving. She was hoping to get a job. We couldn't afford to maintain the rent. Like, we couldn't afford to maintain the rent. So I mean, we maintained it for a couple of months, and then she had to move in with us. But it was not something that I was not aware of. It was something that we already spoke about. So when it happened, I was not shocked. Of course, I didn't like 100% love the experience, but of course, I had to be considerate. I couldn't imagine my sister being stranded in a city and she cannot live with me because I just got married. No, it would be insensitive for me to be that way. And so it was okay for me to like absorb her and all of that. Of course, families differ and situations differ. So this is not an advice that you should take in, your extended family member when you get married. Sure, I would advise not to do so. And this was one of the major issues that affected this marriage, that they couldn't even they were just 3 months old, 3 months old, having this kind of issue. And because even no firm boundaries, the brother-in-law was not even, did not respect the wife, was seeing her as someone that was just there to, take over the husband's, the brother's property and all of that. So there was no like firm boundaries and all of that. And the man did not take a stand. He did not take a stand. He did not like define roles, define responsibilities, define expectations. They were not there. So that was what was, affecting that marriage. Let me just take a expo for my book, okay, guys? Also, another thing I discovered about the extended family, and I think this is peculiar to women, right? When a man gets married, you expect that, oh, you become his all in all. So he should abandon in quotes his family and take sides with you. Of course, the man is leaving his father and his mother to cleave to his wife, right? You become his new family. But you cannot expect him to automatically cut ties with his family, whom he had known all his life. So somehow there will be the tendency to always to also want like tilt towards his family. So I think it's best for women not to put men in a difficult situation where they have to choose sides. And I think I think my gender, women don't still get it. We like to say, okay, is it me or your mother? Who are you picking? Me or your sister? Who are you picking? You want the man to say me, me, me. But sister, calm down now. Calm down. Like, he's his sister that he's known for the last 30 something or 20 something years of his life. How do you expect him to just say, no, I don't want my sister anymore? I'm going to pick you all over and over again. And he has just barely met you, maybe 1 year, 2 years, or maximum 5 years. You guys have known each other. So it's best you don't put him in that situation where he has to choose. You have to respect the important place that both of you play in his life. So if it's his mother and you are considering, you're not saying, oh, choose your mother or choose me. No, you respect that this mother has groomed him all his life up to this point. So she has played an integral role in his life. And also, you don't expect him to just abandon his mother for you. At the same time, you are now a pillar, a strong pillar of his life. So you are also very, very important to him. So don't put him in that place where he has to pick sides. So that's something Stephanie lacked. She was like, you're always taking side with your brother. Of course, I saw that element in Sheyi, which was not really cool. The fact that he was always supporting his brother. But remember, in this story, his brother is his elder brother. So that element of respect which we carry as Africans, we try to respect our elders, whether they deserve the respect or not. Because in this case, I think that brother did not deserve respect. But of course, he had to be noble. So he was respecting, was trying to play it safe, not choose sides, and at the same time, not hurt his wife. Sometimes he tried to like say, oh, you are the winner, you're the winner. So it's important that you also like, so one thing that the man lacked there was the fact that he did not define boundaries. He allowed his brother to do anything and everything. He didn't like say, this is my wife, respect her. If you need anything, get permission from her or do things like this, like that. And also the wife had issues with, first of all, she didn't ask questions about what role if the brother was going to live with them. So she was not even aware of that, which also affected their marriage. And when he now started living with them, she did not know how to manage her anger. So anger management is very, very important. In one of the scenarios, she walked into the room and this guy was having a party with his friends, his rubbish friends, who had nothing doing. And she was totally shocked. Of course, she should be. She turned off the music they were playing with, listening to, and she sent them out. And she was shouting at the top of her voice. Every woman will be furious at that point. Walking into your matrimonial home and seeing your husband's brother having a party with his friends that you were not fully, you were not aware, you were not like he didn't speak to you about it. Of course you will be furious, but how do you handle that kind of situations? Of course, people's temperaments will play a key role here, like, but she did not take it funny. She was just shouting. And remember, this is your husband's elder brother. Of course, like I said, he did not deserve respect, but it's important that we know how to be polite, how to say, be assertive, but at the same time, you are not raising your voice. You're talking calmly, but hitting the nail on the head. And I think that's one thing I love about the whites. They are very emotionally intelligent. They are diplomatic. Like, having lived in the UK for over 2 years now, 2 years and some months, like, they know how to be firm. They know how to like state their ground, and they don't have to shout. And I think I'm just learning that, right? Of course, my temperament is different. I wouldn't have shouted at the brother if it were my kids. I'll just like face my husband because I feel like this is an issue for my husband to handle. So she was just shouting and all of that, and she did not respect him at that point. Of course, he did not like deserve to be respected, but at the same time, you want to maintain your honor and dignity. So it's important that you know how to manage your anger, with extended family, also with your family. So women, men, you don't have to be shouting, like calm down, calm down. Whenever you feel, Whenever you feel disrespected, whenever you feel like you were not treated fairly, whenever you feel like you are a stranger in your own house, because I felt that that was how she felt at that point, that she felt like a stranger in her own house, you know. I think in that situation, it's expected or it's best for you to just leave the issue for your husband to handle. Like, don't take laws into your own hands. Just say, okay, I'm not really happy about what is happening in this, scenario, but I'm gonna leave it for your brother to handle, and then you can go into the room and discuss with your husband. Of course, she did discuss, but the man took sides. He called her a winner, but was not. He was not, bashing his brother. Of course, it's his elder brother, and men somehow try to play politics. They don't want to like take sides, but I think it's also important for men to, respect their wives. What's it called now? Be firm in terms of boundaries, be firm in terms of how they want their wives to be respected and honored. Because the way you treat your wife will be the way your families will treat them, we treat her as well. So if you don't treat her with honor, with respect, if you don't define roles, you don't define boundaries, then people can, treat her anyhow. So, and you don't want that to happen. So that's another issue that, happened in the movie, and they had to deal with this in the guest room. Okay. What else? What else? What else? Another issue, and I think I've mentioned that already. I said the issues that affect marriages. Three main ones that have been identified. The first one I mentioned was sex, finance, and extended family. Those are the three. So I've talked about extended family. Second thing that was affecting them was sex. Sex. So the woman was always giving excuses whenever it was time for them to like make out and all of that. She was always, running away, was not ready to, perform and all of that. And of course, when you sign up to get married, when you sign up to marriage, you are signing up to be this person's, sexual partner. So you cannot run away from that responsibility for the rest of your life. Of course, you don't have to be forced. Women have voice. They can say when they want it and when they don't want it. Even in marriage, someone that truly loves you will not force himself on you, yes. But this woman was obviously not, was not doing well. And the man now like resorted to porn. And he was trying to like say, okay, maybe if he watches porn, maybe that would like help him and she'll be more interested in him and all of that, which was a bad idea. Like, it's important that you set certain boundaries. You don't want to be addicted to something that is not long lasting. And so that affected them. But one major thing that affected, the relationship, their sexual life, was the fact that the woman was suffering from trauma, childhood trauma, childhood trauma. Like such that if the man tries to touch her, she'll freeze and all of that. Like she was seeing the face of her, you know, what's it called now? She was seeing the face of the person, of a rapist. She was raped when she was young. And so for every time that her husband approached her, she was seeing his face. And this is so real. This happens in real life where, people have trauma, they have baggages and all of that. So you don't want to bring your baggage into marriage. Whatever, bad childhood you've had, experiences, traumatic experiences, you want to deal with it. So it's important that you heal before you deal. Like, it would not end well. Like, it would not end well. So, and the man was obviously not aware. So secrecy was a main issue. They were not totally open to each other. And one of the things that I said earlier was the fact that their communication was really poor. So they were speaking but not listening. They were not acting on what was said. So this woman had not even revealed this part to her husband. It was in the guest room part that she had to reveal this. So if you're dating, Sorry, I think sorry, a call came in, so I had to like end the call. Um, I don't know if you heard me before. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? So if you can hear me, let me know, please. Let me have a look at my mic. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for responding. So if you have any baggage, that you're dealing with, heartbreak, traumatic experience, you want to heal. You want to go for therapy. Like you want to speak to a counselor, speak to somebody that would, help you in that situation. So this woman, I really felt for her. I really felt for Stephanie. Like she was abused by her father. You know, imagine the man who should be your defender, the one who should be there for you, who should support you, was the one who abused you. That was the height of trauma, childhood trauma. One second. Sorry, guys. Had some technical issues trying to resolve. Please let me know if you can hear me clearly and if it's okay, if everything is okay. Is it fine now? Please, I need feedback. Is everything fine now? Okay, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. So, the person that should have been her greatest defender, that should have, protected her, was the one who defiled her. And she couldn't let go of that. And that is so traumatic. Like, I can just imagine what she must have gone through. But she took it into marriage, and the husband was paying for her sins. Sorry, not her sins. The husband was paying for her, you know, the baggage that she put into the marriage, and it took that experience for them to be able to like pour out their hearts to each other. So if you're already married and you have any traumatic experience and you've not expressed to your husband or your wife, they need to be aware. And if you need to seek a counselor, go to seek professional help. You need to, go for it so that you can heal. So that, I mean, when she, let go of her emotions and everything, she eventually became free and felt so good and all of that. So you want that to happen, right? So you don't want to, carry any baggage into marriage. Marriage is already like, would I say too tough? Not tough, anyway. Marriage has its own, what's the right word, for lack of a better word now. Marriage has its own, requirement. It has its own stress, in quote, that it brings, that you have to like try to work out. It is hard work, in short. Let me that's the word. Marriage is hard work. So you want to make sure that you reduce as many baggage as possible so that you can fully concentrate on the job that's assigned to you. You don't want to include any baggage or any stress and all of that. So, I mean, you need to heal. You need to seek help. And so until she was able to open up to her husband and they prayed together, the husband prayed for her. That was when she felt really whole. So you don't want to bring any baggage, any emotional trauma into marriage to haunt you. It would not, help you to fulfill your it will not help you to have the best experience as a married person. So imagine that they were not able to, have this, they were not able to be put in a close location, then they won't have been able to express themselves and be able to like find out what the problem was in their marriage. They'll just find out that it's not working, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. Before you know it, they've divorced. So a lot of divorces these days could be avoided if we try to let go of any baggage, any emotional trauma, any problems we're having. You want to come into marriage as a whole person, two whole persons coming together, to do life together. It's a lot easier. But when one person is coming with trauma, with baggage, and they've not healed, they bring in that problem into marriage that the other person has to, like, suffer for it or pay for it, and it's not the best experience. So if you have any trauma, any problem, please heal before you do. Speak to your partner. If both of you have to see a counselor together, it'll be best resolve that part, okay? And speak up. Stop, keeping. I know in this world, in the world that we're living today, it's difficult for people to believe women, to believe when they say, but you cannot keep holding on to, whatever trauma you face. You have to heal. So you have to speak up, speak to somebody, a trusted friend, trusted family, professional help. Speak to somebody that can help you, please. Another thing is men don't suffocate women. Men don't suffocate women. So the woman felt suffocated in that marriage. That was why she could not express herself. So for every time she goes to her husband to complain, talk about how she was feeling, he was not listening to her. He would dismiss her accusations, dismiss her feelings, dismiss her emotions. So she was not, at ease. And women want to be in an environment where they can easily express themselves. They want to be in an environment where they can talk about how they feel without feeling judged. And that is what marriage is all about, right? When you live with your parents, you are under obligation to respect them, to listen to them, to be loyal to them. And sometimes you might not fully express yourself because, oh, you want to be respectful, you don't want to hurt them, you don't want them to say, oh, you're not polite. But when you now come into marriage, you shouldn't come into marriage and start living that same kind of life where you can't even talk. Like, you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna say now. Whether he's gonna be angry. I don't know what you don't want that. You want to marry your friend, right? That's why we talk about how to build friendship. We talked about in our previous video. Your partner should be your best friend. Like, there should be someone that you can freely express yourself. Tell them, crack jokes, insults, throw banter. Like I said, throw banter. Say, see as your head be, and they will not feel insulted. See you as you short, they will not feel insulted. Like, I remember my dad and my mom, they used to throw banter. I would have loved to say it the way they used to say, but they used to say it in my local dialect. And I know most of you will not understand, right? So my daddy would say that he thought that my mom was still growing when they were dating, that he thought she was tall because my mom was always on high heels. So when they walked together, he didn't feel like she was really short. So he would be saying that. So maybe in case my mom wants to do something and she's like, okay, I need your help. Let me take this from up. She's like, is this your height? I should be like making jest of it. I mean, he'll be making jest of her and all of that. It's really suffering. But you want to live in that environment where your voice can be heard. So men, please don't suffocate your woman. Allow them to express themselves. Just the way you have a voice, you can tell her, this is what I want for this marriage. This is what I want to eat. This is how I want to sleep. I don't need disturbance. These are the places I'm going to. Just the way you freely express yourself, and you don't expect her to, question you, in quote, like, you don't expect her to suffocate you or stop you from speaking. That is the same way she needs to also be able to freely express herself. She's a human being, for crying out loud. It is not a man's word, it is human being's word. So your wife is as human as you are. So she has a voice and she should be able to speak up. Be empathetic as well. Whenever she says something, maybe you don't feel the weight, or you don't feel the way she feels, just acknowledge what she says. Acknowledge and listen to her and say, okay, I understand that you feel this way. I'm really sorry you had to feel that way, or you had to go through this. Is there any way I can help you? Is there any way I can support you? Don't suffocate your woman. Allow her to speak freely, please. Thank you, guys. I know you're listening, and I know you're going to act on this, right? You guys are the best, right? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, okay, we're nearly coming to the end, right? Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. So, another thing I discovered was the fact that if your husband has a hobby, or if your wife has a hobby, you need to like join them. Like, just join them in that hobby instead of, saying that is it that important? Because sometimes I'll be like, this man, why do you like football like this? As in, I was talking to my husband, why do you like football like this? Well, it's his hobby. He loves it. So you cannot ask him to, especially women, don't tell him to choose between you and football. And this was what Stephanie was saying. She was so angry that, you know, her husband would choose football over her. Like, and the annoying part is that the brother-in-law would be the one to come and call the husband when it was time for a match. And they'll be gisting, playing, and all of that, laughing about football because football unites, people, unites men together. So she'll be feeling left out like, it's supposed to be me and my husband. Why is this man coming as an intruder? Sometimes he invades your privacy, which is really, really bad, right? I don't want to talk about that. But the fact that the husband loved football so much and she never, bothered to, join whenever he was, watching football, but she was always angry that he's watching football. Look at the way he's laughing. See, men and football are inseparable, especially for those that love football. They love it so much. They are inseparable. So women, take notes. The best thing you can do is join him if he's going to the stadium. Watch football with him in the house, or just if you know you can't do any of it, just leave him. Whatever, if you need him to do anything, let him know in advance that, oh, I would need your support in this area, so that he can support you ahead of time. You see that time when he's supposed to be watching football, especially African men that I know, he might not listen to you. And it doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. That's the thing that women need to know. It doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. It doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. Like, he loves you. But it's just that this is something that he loves too. Like, it's his hobby. Like, it's his passion. Men are like passionate about football. But so if you can join him, join him. But if you can't, please just leave him. Later, once he's done with the football, you come and meet him. And so you console him too. If his team loses, you console him. So just know that, right? Just know that men and football are inseparable. Support your man in his hobby. Women support your women. No, women support your men. Men support your women in their hobby and all of that. Nearly done with the movie Love in the Guest Room. I love the fact that this movie had a lot of silent lessons, issues that are affecting marriages today. And if we do not pay attention to, it can lead to, marriages, crumbling, especially communication. That's like the bedrock of every marriage or relationship. So let me just see the last point. Oh, do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. I think I've talked about the major points in the movie. And I think the last one was the fact that they went to see a counselor. When they were having issues, they acknowledged the fact that they needed a counselor. But unfortunately, they were not listening to their counselor. So sometimes, it takes, the hand of God to make a relationship work. But I think the first step is to acknowledge that you have a problem and you need to resolve it. Now, if you are going to meet a counselor, you should go to meet a counselor with an open heart that whatever they say to you, you would want to listen to it. Now, what the counselor, discovered was the fact that their phones were a barrier to their relationship. In the sense that their phones were hindering communication. The man was always on the phone for his business. The woman was always on the phone chatting with friends, and so they couldn't listen to each other. So in this age and time, like I said before, your partner should be your best friend, and you should also set boundaries. Like sometimes my husband tends to like walk around the clock, and because he has a personal business, and I tell him sometimes like, "Oh God, your work no the end." Like, yeah, after he has worked and worked, I say, "Your work no the end." I still picking call by this time. Like, so you can decide to say, okay, work ends at 10 p.m. After that, we take our phones, we put our phones on do not disturb. We don't want to receive any call so that you can spend quality time with your partner. If you're not spending quality time with your partner, you won't be able to be involved in everything that's happening in their life. Because sometimes it's all those everyday, activities that build up into something big. So maybe he had a bad day at work, maybe he had issues with his boss, or maybe he's a business person, he had issues at the store. He didn't tell you that day, and that issue has, aggravated to something else. You were not even aware. By the time you guys want to catch up, it's 1 week time. A lot of things have happened, and it's now difficult for you guys to like come together and speak about it. Resentment will come in. The man will be feeling like, oh, she's not even aware of what's happening in my life. She can't even support me. Even the woman, maybe she was not able to express herself. She'll be feeling the same way. He's not supporting me. He's not there for me. I need my husband, but he's not there. The only person that would have supported me is not available. It's my friends that I'm turning to. So you want to make sure that your communication is intact, that you are able to set boundaries when it comes to your phone, when it comes to family. So let me just summarize now. So in summary, Love in the Guest Room is a beautiful movie, very important for dating couples, for married people, so that you'll be able to address red flags, and so that they would not, disrupt your marriage. Now, what are the things that stood out for me? The fact that you need to take your sexual life seriously, make sure that you're satisfying your partner, make sure that you are ready to learn together, because sex is an art. The more you get to do it, I've said this over and over, in my videos recently, that the more you practice it, you engage in it, the better you become. So you should be ready to satisfy your partner, speak to each other. Two, that communication is essential in every relationship. And the day you stop talking to each other, not only talking, listening to each other and acting on what is said, the day you open the door for your marriage to start to die. So you want to make sure that your communication levels are as strong as ever, and that you're able to catch up. Make sure you're speaking almost throughout the whole day, or able to catch up at the end of the day. You do not allow phones to take over your marriage. Do not allow phones to be your, consolation. Your partner should be your best friend. They should be involved in everything that is happening in your life. And it's important to set boundaries when it comes to extended family. If it has breast, or it's better to set boundaries when it comes to extended family, as if it is possible, make sure that you don't have extended families living with you. But if you cannot avoid that, make sure that roles are defined, privacy, roles are defined, boundaries are defined, and nobody's crossing each other. There's respect for your husband, respect for your wife, and the same respect that you give to them. Respect your husband and wife in front of your, family members, so that they can also accord the same respect to them. It's also important that we learn how to manage our anger. You can be assertive yet polite. So you need to learn how to communicate, when to communicate, how to communicate, the place to communicate, the words to say, the tone of your voice. Yeah. That's the movie Love in the Guest Room. It was interesting. I love watching faith-based movie. They're really interesting to watch. And I didn't even explain the plot twist, the suspense, everything that's in the movie. I only talked about the lessons learned, right? So if you like to see the movie, go and support the Winlos. Go to their page, watch the movie, and I'm sure you'll be blessed. Thank you for watching my movie review. If you'd like me to do more movie reviews, please let me know in the comment, and I will respond to you. Thank you. Bye.